Real relationships, real conversations. This is who we are. This is Couples Connect. Real relationships, real conversations. This is who we are. This is Couples Connect.
What's up, couples? What's up? Welcome to Couples Connect. My name is Akida.
And I'm Tisha.
And today we are going to be diving in something really crucial and important in marriages.
Yeah.
You know, because at some point every marriage goes through it. But what are we talking about for today?
We are talking about the fears in marriage, right? And so a lot of times we're going to experience moments and seasons where things aren't the best. Things can be rocky, right? And sometimes there's some fears in play and some things that we're feeling and thinking that prevent us from moving in the direction that will actually help our marriage, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But before we get started on those things, we got to have our couples connection moment.
Yes, I look forward to these moments, and y'all can join with us too. So the same questions that we ask each other, make sure you ask your spouse. It just creates a deeper sense of connection and creates more of those opportunities. So let's go ahead. You're gonna ask it, or you?
Yep, I'm gonna ask the question. So the question for today, we figured would be a cool question, is what is your greatest fear as a husband and as a wife? And y'all answers, definitely be different. This is all subjective. But I'm gonna throw it over in your court. What is your greatest? Well, I won't say greatest fear. Maybe just one fear.
One of the fears.
One of the fears as a husband.
As a husband, I would say that I'm not doing enough. Right? And that there's something else that I could be doing, but I think one of my fears is that that I'm not providing enough, that I'm not doing enough, that I'm not making myself available enough, just that there's more. And I know that we should always continue to want to grow and to do better, but sometimes I confuse that doing better with that I'm not doing good where I'm at right now. Like I'm not meeting that expectation. I just feel like, I could be doing more. Like just today, my wife is cooking breakfast.
I was cooking. Did y'all hear that?
She was cooking breakfast, and our son was like making eggs. And I'm just like, I'm walking around pacing back and forth in the kitchen because I feel like I should be doing something. Like, and I'm just like looking around, and Tisha's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "You can sit down, like you can relax and just wait for breakfast." But I think it's just that, and I have to work through that too, even as men, that although we may strive to do better and to grow and to develop, evolve, you are doing a great job now, even in what you're doing. So it's not to discredit that, even as we continue. So both can be true at the same time. You're doing a good job, and you can do better, and you can be more. But not to beat yourself about it, you know?
You're doing a good job.
Oh, I appreciate that. But what would you say as a wife, what is one of your greatest fears?
I think, I don't know if this is like a wife thing. This, I guess, could apply to just any couple or any person. I think not having enough time to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish together before one of us is taken.
Yeah.
Well, taken. One of us goes home.
Yeah.
Or leaves this earth, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, I think that is something that constantly plays in the back of my head. And I think that could be, and I feel like that's a fear in the relationship. And then I think just as a person in general too.
Yeah.
And so I think that can kind of fuels a little bit of like, okay, I gotta keep doing this, or I gotta keep, like, similar to what, but in a different perspective.
Yeah, that I need to get it all done before.
Right, because I don't want to like have regret. Yeah. Like leave in regret.
Yeah, you want to leave empty, given all that you could.
Right. Right. So, and I think, like, as far as we are concerned, moving together as a unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's definitely real. it is similar to kind of, what I was saying too. So we're kind of aligned in that, but
I think, I think the crazy, like as we're talking about it, I think the crazy things about fears are that they have as much power as we give them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I think, even in that being a fear, I think, just even recognizing that I'm giving that thing power. Who's to say that what we're doing now is not what we're supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or isn't the assignment?
Right.
You know what I mean? But if there's always this lingering, like there's more, like, then you know what I'm saying? Like I'm giving it, and it also robs you of enjoying the present and the now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely struggle with staying in the present.
Absolutely. And those are really the moments that create the memories and create the impact in enjoying those. If we don't have those times to like celebrate the milestones and make time to be present in the moment, then we'll always be concerned only about the future and what's next.
Right, right, yeah.
And I think it's a good place to never feel satisfied, and like to always be passionate, but also remain in a sense of gratitude.
Right.
I
was about to say, because it takes, right? That was the word I was about to say.
Sorry.
I was like, it takes the thankfulness from the equation,
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was good.
That was good.
That was good. Yeah.
That was good.
Definitely. But let's hop into this topic today, and we're talking about the fears of marriage.
Yeah.
And the different things that we can go through, because we all have seasons in our marriage, right? And you have your up seasons when everything is going well. You have sometimes your delayed seasons and sometimes your rough seasons, right? And we're specifically going to be talking about those rough seasons that we go through.
Yeah, because have you ever wondered why, like, it has happened many of times to us where like we see couples and they're together, things on the outside appear to be great, and then later on we find out like they're divorcing or they're separating or like all these other things were happening and you would never know. And some statistics I just want to share real quick, right?
Share them now.
Listen, about 45% of couples say that they have a lack of connection in their relationship. 45%, y'all. That's almost half of the couples.
Yeah.
Right? And you would not know it by just, everybody's not going to air their
stuff out there to everyone. Yeah.
Right. But that statistic is very staggering, I feel like.
It is. Like, that's very, like, huge, and I'm curious to know, like, at what poll of those couples, like marriages that have been married for a year, or 40 years, or 100 years. And I would assume that that's across the spectrum, that you could be married 30 something years and you don't feel connected.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just marriages who have been only married for 7 years or 5 years.
Right.
So
another statistic is 65% of couples struggle with communication.
Yeah.
And like you have to talk to do, like we talk about this all the time, y'all. You have to talk to do everything. And so if there's a struggle with communication, then there's friction happening.
Yeah.
65% of couples, I was about to say 65% of the time, but
probably 100%.
Probably, right, 100% for those 65, right? And so there's just, I wanted to share that because there's just an alarming indication that there is a need for tools and techniques and strategies and community and things to help us learn how to have healthy relationships, but also enjoyable relationships, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that we are meant to do marriage alone,
right?
Just by ourselves. And it doesn't mean that we have other people. We talk about the circle, right? So it doesn't mean that they're in your circle, but you have a community surrounded around you, helping you, guiding you, being someone to lean on, and pull from. So
we're excited because we're going to dive into this conversation. We're going to be talking about some things that may be preventing, folks from getting the help and the resources that they need so that they can have that marriage that's thriving, right after this commercial break.
We'll see you soon.
Welcome to Purses and Proverbs, We are a chic, creative art boutique located in South Plainfield, New Jersey. With our beautiful line of handcrafted accessories, you can find the perfect gift or treat yourself to something special. Grab a good friend and join us in our she shed, where we offer the most unique and creative workshops for individuals, corporate events, private events, and more. Check out our calendar and purchase online at pursesandproverbs.com.
Hey guys, super excited to share with you about our 2-day free virtual event, The Couples Connection.
We're going to teach couples how to reconnect in their marriage, rebuild trust, rediscover communication, and reignite the passion in their relationships.
All of the secrets to living together without killing each other in the process.
Hello,
in
somebody.
This one event. So if you're interested in requesting an invitation to join, scan the QR code.
Or visit yourmarriagesuccess.com.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are talking about the fears in marriage, some of the feelings and things that we have. And we get the opportunity to talk to a lot of couples,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And so sometimes, we ask or they tell us, what took them so long to actually, reach out and get the help. And so we're going to share some of those reasons with you that, maybe you or someone is utilizing to prevent them from getting the enrichment and the help that they need in their relationship. Yeah. So first up, what we hear a lot and what we have said ourselves when we have been in this position
yes, absolutely,
is things will never change.
Yeah.
Things will never change.
Yeah, and I think that number one is it's a lie that we tell ourselves that things will never change, because it's that fear that, what if I put in the work? What if I do this and results do not come from it, right? Then that means it was all for a waste, and that's, can't be farther from the truth. Like that is complete opposite of what working on the issue does for you.
Right.
Because we have to be able to put in that work, and I think if we don't see immediate results, sometimes we think that as a failure,
right?
But sometimes there's a process and there is progress that you have to go through to work through these issues. That could take some time, but you will see results and you will see the fruitfulness of it at the end of it. And
I'll say what can turn that lie into a truth is inaction.
Yeah. Yep.
Things will never change if you do not take action.
Yeah.
Like if you don't do something different. If you're doing the same thing over and over, what is the saying? And then expecting the same result.
Yeah.
Or a different result. That's not going to happen. And so when we think, we have to remind ourselves that this is something I'm telling myself, I don't know this to be true.
Right.
I'm assuming this to be true. I don't know this to be true. And the only way that you'll know it to be true is to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to put in the work, and it may not be easy. It may not feel good because you're outside of what you're used to, and you may have to do some things differently to work through this thing. So there's gonna be a resistance that you feel. There's gonna be an opposition that you feel to it, because you're really trying to break chains. You're really trying to break these barriers and tear down these walls. So it's gonna feel like it's a battle. It's gonna feel like work, and that doesn't feel good. But like you said, the way to get through it is to actually do it. Like you have to start.
Oh, through it, do it.
Yeah, there you go. Just do it.
So the next one that we hear a lot is people will judge you. People will judge us. There's a lot of shame associated with it and blame associated with it.
Yeah.
And so for that one, that's also a lie that we tell ourselves, because we don't know that to be true. And majority of the time when someone is offering services to help you, it's in the desire to help and not to judge.
Absolutely.
Right? Because they want to better, they want to provide you with the resources so that you can be in a better state than you're currently in now.
Yeah. And everybody's going through stuff.
Oh, listen.
So don't even worry about the whole judgment, because those people are going through issues too.
They are.
The difference is that you're doing something about it.
Right.
You know? So don't go based off of, what you see on Instagram or how people's lives look on the outward. Everybody's going through issues.
And I want to share too, as marriage coaches, it is not that we are void or absent of issues.
Including us. Yeah.
Right. We just have tools that help us know how to navigate through the issues.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we want to just encourage you not to think that there is judgment, because we are in the same space. We just have some additional resources and knowledge and experience in certain areas to help us navigate it better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't worry about what they say.
Listen, don't worry about it. Okay, so this one also comes up a lot. I'll let you handle it.
Yeah, so number 3 is your spouse will be resistant. They will not want to put in the work, and you feel like it won't work because your spouse is not 100% on with you.
Right.
And this is another lie that we tell ourselves, because we understand that sometimes you'll be, all gung-ho about this and you'll be ready to put in the work, and your spouse will not, do that. But it doesn't help when nobody does anything. We say a lot of times, if somebody is fire, the other person has to be water. Right? So even if you were to do the work on yourself for your marriage, you're still 70% there. Even if you're not 100%, you still made some progress, and your spouse will see the change. It will see the things that you're doing, and that will be like an attraction. Like, was it negatives and positives?
Yeah.
How they come together, and they'll be drawn to that because they'll see what this work and this these counseling sessions or one-on-one coaching that you're getting, they'll see what that's doing for you and be drawn to that. So,
and it also helps you as the individual know how to better manage and deal with, like, if you have tools in your tool belt that you're able to utilize, you can bring that to the relationship, and now you're showing something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you'd be surprised how many marriages are shifted and changed just because one person took action.
Yeah, it only takes one, to at least get things started.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Somebody said, not somebody said, but we often talk about how you feel like everybody, like in a marriage, each person has to be at 100% all the time.
Right.
But really, no, some days he may be at 20% and I may have to pull the 80%. And then vice versa. I may be at 20%. He might have to fill
Which
the
is
80%.
what marriage is about.
Right.
This is a team. We're in this together. And even if you see on sports teams, there is, somebody who is out there on the field or on the court, and when they get tired or they're overworked or they can't continue right now, they need to get that recharge. They sit on the bench, and then you sub in, and you take over, and vice versa. So it's teamwork.
Yeah. So the next one up, the next lie that we tell ourselves, or things that we might tell ourselves, is
yeah, this is a big one here.
It's gonna work itself out over time.
Yeah, that is just not true at all. Just simply because having that thought process that it's going to work itself out over time is just an opportunity for it to get worse over time. Right? If you have an injury or you have a cut or something or bruise and you don't tend to that thing and you're just like, oh, it's going to work itself out. There could be a whole bunch of things that can have infection, or it can get worse, or if it's not treated. But that's such a danger zone. Yeah, exactly. That's such a danger zone.
Yeah. And I think when we are thinking that it'll work itself out over time, we're really like just avoiding, right? We don't want to rock the boat, so to speak. You know what I mean? We don't want to, possibly cause there to be additional work that maybe we have to do. And like you said, most of the time it only gets worse, right? It either stays the same, which is not where you want it to be, or it gets worse, right? And it goes back to the other thing with you can guarantee that it will stay the same if you do nothing.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it kind of reminds me of like, when you have a vehicle, right? You have a car and that car requires maintenance, monthly maintenance or weekly or however a certain amount of miles. Like you have to do the maintenance in order for it to continue operating at its best potential and the longevity of that vehicle. And a lot of times, like us included, we'll wait until something major happens. Yeah. Or there's a major shutdown, or the engine goes.
Oh crap!
Or the transmission goes, and you take it to the shop, and they're saying, well, because you didn't put oil in it, or because you didn't get an oil change, or you didn't get a tune-up, or you didn't get your tires rotated. Something very small that has now grown into something bigger and drastic, that's more expensive and will take more of your time to fix.
Yeah. Typically we go in cycles.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing doesn't go away. We just keep circling around it. And then oftentimes we're surprised when we land back in that same spot.
Right.
And so we as people, we are super busy. It's really easy for us to put something else in that place, right? Temporarily to keep our minds off of whatever the issue is or whatever the thing is that we keep circling. But the thing is, it keeps coming back. It doesn't go away. Time does not remove the core issue or the core problem, right? And so if we want to really be in a healthy space, we want to really be like fully connected, able to communicate without struggling, then we can't just pretend that it's not there.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Or that it's gonna go away.
Like even with the car analogy, you can't be just driving and you have you get those lights, right? Those indicators,
right?
And it's like you have your oil light comes on,
it's
and
flashing.
your engine,
it's flashing.
Or your gas light, and you're like you're looking at it, you're like, it'll work itself out.
Or how about I can make it to the beach,
right? And then you get stuck, and
right?
stranded.
And you're like, oh, why did the car get stuck?
Right?
Because the light's been flashing the whole time.
Yeah. So so that was good. So the next one that we have, the last one, is it will make things worse. Sometimes we can feel like I don't want to wake the sleeping bear, right? Like I don't want to poke the bear. We know it's there, but I don't want it to get worse. I don't want things to get more bad than what they are, and create a bigger issue. And that's another lie that we tell ourselves, because the bear is still there. Right. And we talked about those cycles.
Right.
And you can still be in that situation, and it will get worse over time if it's not addressed. The earlier on that you address the issue or that you work through it, the easier it will be in the long run.
The more opportunity you have to live in a better space.
That's right, yeah.
Right? So when you are not doing anything, like you said, you're either plateauing in a space you don't want to be in, or you're declining.
Yeah.
And all that time is wasted in the decline.
Absolutely.
Right? As opposed to going in the upcline. Is upcline a word? Ascension?
Yeah. Incline? No.
Incline.
I'm thinking about the gym.
No. Okay, well, instead of being in that better space, right? Yeah. And so sometimes we're sharing this because sometimes we have to recognize that there are some fears that we have that aren't necessarily truth.
Yeah.
Right? And if we really want that better space, we have to reframe our thinking and allow ourselves to move in a place of truth. Right.
And that's why, I just want to make it clear that addressing these situations doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
Right.
But what helps you is when you have the resources, when you have the support, when you have the community, when you have things like, marriage workshops where people are pouring into you, then you're able to get through it and not have to carry the load alone. Right? So,
I mean, and if you think about it, like, when you're in marriage coaching, when you're in the workshops, when you're in the conferences and all the things, you're just adding tools to your belt.
Absolutely.
Right? That is helping you better be able to handle or to navigate those spaces that can be tough.
Exactly.
And so, like, why not have extra tools
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you be ready. Like, you need something to, it's like, you know, if a screw is loose, you got the tool for that. You got the wrench. If a nail came out, you got the hammer.
Right.
Like, you know what to pull out and when to use it.
Right.
And it just gives you such a great advantage,
Yeah.
you know, over processing through and working through these rough seasons.
Yeah, because even when you're not in a rough season,
yeah,
right? You still, if you have a tool belt full, you're ready for when the season becomes rocky, because the season will become rocky.
Exactly. And that's a bonus lie that we sometimes tell ourselves, is that I don't need these resources because my marriage is okay right now. Or that everything's fine right now. And we wait until it gets bad before we want to start getting help. And imagine if we were to be prepared. Somebody once said, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
You ain't got to get ready.
So, you know, having these resources and getting this help now, even when your marriage is going well, is still a great advantage to you.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many like books I've read, sermons I've listened to, and things I've listened to, and I'm kind of like, okay, this is good. It may not be pertinent for right now, but when a season hits or something happens, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when, you know, when I learned about X, Y, and Z, or I could do such and such and such. It comes back to you. Right, and then I can revert back to that. And so, yeah, and the part that you talked about, community, is so important. It's so important to be able to have accountability, right? Because a lot of things we try to do on our own that we're not able to do by ourselves.
That's right.
We really need extra people keeping us accountable, helping us, you know, motivating us along the way. Because we know, like, it is hard to break habits and behaviors.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, if that was the case, I would
if that was the case,
down 50 pounds.
We'd all, I was about to say, we'd all be walking around with six-pack abs and, you know, cuts everywhere.
I'll be looking a little different, right?
Right.
If that was the case. And
Yeah.
so what coaching and these other communities and support spaces that you find yourself in helps you do is stay accountable, stay in the game.
Yeah.
Right? I feel
So
like that's you got like a boxing analogy or something like that for like staying in the game.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of nothing. I just
Yeah, but I mean, even boxers, right? Boxers can be in the ring, but they have a whole group of people in their corner.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You have a coach telling you, hey, get down low. Hey, hit him with the jab. Hey, I need you to move more. I need you to get him. So even though you're in the ring, you still have somebody giving you the techniques, giving you the skills, somebody who can see it from the outside in and give you guidance and support as you're in this fight. Right.
So. Even though you got me thinking about Creed, I got like a whole visual. But yeah, like what you were saying, even though, what's his name? I forgot his name, but he had to actually be in the ring doing the fighting. Like he had to actually show up. That support around him really helped him take it all the way to the end. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That was a good...
Hey, you listen now. You better go ahead.
Good analogy. I'm soups. All right. So who want to get in the ring?
Right. Let's go.
Let's go.
But you know, and we know that we've given you a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
But you know, what are some next steps? What can you do? How can you start in processing through these rough seasons? So we just want to leave you with some things that you can do to start the process. And I'll say for me, one is getting connected to a resource that can help you. You know, luckily not luckily, but we do offer that support for those couples who are going through those situations. And we actually have some things coming up that will be really beneficial, which is a 2-day free workshop called the Couples Connection Event. And like I said, it's a free 2-day workshop, and we go through a lot of the different things that can help you with working through past hurts, you know, how to have better communication, igniting the passion and unlocking the passion that you once had in your marriage. Yeah. So what are
deeper connections, and things like that, but also conferences, marriage conferences are super helpful. Marriage coaching, marriage therapy, books can be resources, but you know, books are great resources, but again, that community support, like having those people around you, is so important. And for both of you, right? And so sometimes you might be on this journey, you might be just that one spouse showing up and you need that support, but then sometimes it's both of you. And then, you have that connection that both of you can pull from, when seasons and times get tough. And that's really what it's about,
Yeah.
And that's our heart, even in this show. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Offering this space where you can get these resources and these tools and these techniques to help you navigate. But we understand that everybody's situation is different, right? And so there are some times when you need to be tangibly involved and connected. And so, you want to tell them the site that they can go to?
Oh, yes. So if you want to register for the 2-day free event, you can go to yourmarriagesuccess.com. And that's going to explain to you what we do, what you'll expect, and then how to register. And it's going to be such an impactful workshop. We have a lot of great things in store.
It's gonna be fun.
Listen, we've been putting a lot of research and work into this program because we want you to be set up for success. We want your marriage to be successful. So go to yourmarriagesuccess.com.
The only other thing I would say is we're super excited for where your marriage is going, for where God wants to take you. We absolutely believe that it does not have to stay the same. And even if it's great, good, it could be great too. Even if it's great, we're believing for greater.
That was, one of the things we talked about in the beginning of the episode is that it can be doing well now, but you can still expect for more. Right? Those two things can be truth at the same time.
It can.
So I think this workshop is going to be beneficial wherever you are in your marriage. However long you've been married for, you can gain something from this workshop.
Cool. This has been a good conversation, y'all.
Yeah, I love talking about this. I think we've tackled some real issues and some real things that go through our minds. It's definitely gone through our minds as well. And this conversation, hopefully, will help to free up somebody who is in that situation to take that step. And if you need help, we're there for you. So thank y'all so much for watching this episode.
Yes.
We'll see you next week. And make sure to always tune in. But remember to stay connected.
And to stay together.
Real relationships, real conversations. This is who we are. This is Couples Connect. Real relationships, real conversations. This is who we are. This is Couples Connect.